What's going on, everybody? This is Brian from SneakerFiles.com, back with another news video. And before we jump into things, like always, greatly appreciate a thumbs up. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe by hitting the red button below. Now, just to briefly go over a few highlights, I've got some exclusive information, an update on the OffWhite Air Jordan 4 Bred. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about it, and I'll talk more on that later in the video. We also have a first look at the Air Jordan 13 Red Flint and much more from Jordan Brand. Also in this video is a good amount from Nike and one thing from Adidas. And now, without wasting too much more of your time, let's jump into the news. The Yeezy 700 V3 Safflower is once again in the news, and this time it's for a good reason. That reason is we finally have a first look. Now, in the last video, I went over the name change for the shoe as well as the release date, but the image used in that video was actually a Photoshop. Now with this first look, we can see that it features less yellow than the Photoshop. It also looks like it has a little bit of gray on the sides. As well, the midsole is a bit lighter, but we have black on the tongue, liner, and laces. Now, I will say the Photoshop is close, and it was done by Yeezy Mafia, and I'm sure he got to see the shoes early. Maybe something changed down the line, but honestly, I like what's releasing better compared to the Photoshop. And honestly, the Yeezy 700 V3 is the only model that I really like from Kanye, but that's just my opinion. Let me know yours down below. And as of now, the release date is scheduled for November 14th. Retail price will be $200. We now have detailed images of the Nike Dunk Low Laser Orange. Now, I know what you guys are going to say. This pair is not orange, it's in fact yellow. I would even go as far as to say that it's possibly a gold shade, so I definitely agree with you guys. And it's a bit weird because with each detail look or each look that we get, the shading of yellow is different, or I should say orange. And I would say let's wait until official images come, but since Jordan Brand already messed up on the Air Jordan 4 Fire Red, it's possible that accurate official images won't be available as well. Either way, it's going to be some time before we get those images. This pair is currently expected to release early 2021. There is a slight possibility late 2020, and the retail price will be $100. Also, this is a women's release, and currently I'm not sure if this pair will be available in extended women's sizing. The Nike Kobe 5 Protro 5 rings finally has a release date. So the announcement initially came from Foot Locker. They updated their release calendar and it had this pair scheduled for October 15th. Now, shortly after that went live, they removed it. I'm not sure why. I haven't checked since if it went back up. But Nike Sneakers updated theirs, and they have this pair scheduled to release on October 15th. I still don't want to say the release date is locked in, because in the past I've seen dates pop up on sneakers and they get pushed around. I believe I updated a release date for another shoe that actually moved around from the sneakers app. But at the very least, we do know that this pair will also be available at Foot Locker, more than likely on October 15th. Retail price will be $180. When it comes to Nike SB, I know that most of the hype is for the Dunk Low or the Dunk High, in some cases the Mid, but here is an upcoming pair that I really like, and it's by Grant Taylor, who rides for Nike SB, and he has his own SB Blazer Mid releasing. The pair is known as GTP, and it takes inspiration from the classic ACG Moab. Now, taking a closer look, it features brown canvas on the upper, we have a black rubberized swoosh on the panels, purple and orange detailing throughout, as well as GTP branding on the tongue, which mimics that of the ACG branding. Finishing the look is a black midsole and white speckled detailing. If you're interested in grabbing this pair, they will be available at select skate shops on October 10th. Another pair that many are excited for is the Nike SB Dunk Low Elephant. Now, information on this dunk came out early 2020, and it seems that every several months we get a new image, and it's just a preview image, so once again, that's all we have. But it is the latest look, so I did want to showcase them. Not only do they feature elephant print on the overlays, the colors used mimics that of Atmos's Air Max 1 collaboration. Definitely a nice pair in my opinion, and as for the release info, all we know is that they are expected to launch in November. With that being said, we should get a detailed look soon, as well as more release info. Thanks to LeBron James and ASAP Bari, we now have a first look at the Cactus Plant Flea Market Nike Dunk Low. Now this is one of two colorways, which is believed to be the pure platinum pair. Also releasing is a pair in Spiral Sage. And I'll be honest, when I heard about the upcoming Cactus Plant Flea Market collab, I didn't expect them to look like this. I thought that we would see their smiley face logo somewhere on the shoe, and it still might be somewhere, but from these photos, it's definitely not standing out. But what is standing out is the bedazzled look. As you can see, it has these little jewels throughout the upper that also lands on the swoosh, overlays, tongue, and heel. Even on the tongue label, I would think that we would see some sort of branding, and from these images, it looks just like we have more jewels. Other than that, we have white on the laces, midsole, and outsole. I definitely would not be wearing these shoes. I'm definitely not. I definitely know some people do like them, and I'm sure that they're going to sell out once they are available. But unfortunately, we don't have the release details. They are expected to release holiday 2020, and the retail price will be $120. Let me know your thoughts on this pair in the comment section below. Onto Jordan Brand, and we have the official images of the Air Jordan 5 GS Pink Foam. Now, I wasn't going to feature them in this video, but I decided to throw them in just because they are releasing this week. As well, not too many images have actually surfaced of the shoe, so I thought this could serve as one final look for those that are interested in buying them. Now, moving on from the official images, this pair will release on October 9th. Retail price will be $140. This pair will pretty much be available everywhere. I don't think this pair is going to sell out, possibly on Sneakers app, but everything sells out on the Sneakers app, so that doesn't really count. And what's kind of crazy is, not to take away from the shoe, because I am sure that people like them. A few years ago, if this pair did release, they definitely would sit, they would go on sale. And the current state of the market right now, I have no idea if these would sit or sell out. I have an update on the Air Jordan 1 High OG Co.Jp in Midnight Navy. Now, I'm sure most of you remember that there was a release date change for October 31st. On that same day, the Air Jordan 1 High OG Dark Mocha would release, which in my opinion, and I believe I stated this several times, that I didn't think both would release on the same day. I was actually corrected twice, because on two separate occasions, Jordan Brand actually released multiple Air Jordan 1s on the same day. We had the Pine Green and the Court Purple Air Jordan 1 High OG, I believe in 2018. And then they also released a regional pack, which featured 4 colorways, and it was known as Best Hand in the Game. But for the Air Jordan 1 High OG Co.Jp in Midnight Navy, it looks like that won't be the case. Now, the October 31st release date, it appears that it's going to be for Japan. Now, for most other places in the world, as well as the States, the release date is November 14th. So the original release date that I went over in plenty of others as well, it looks like it went back to that. I've actually seen a few release calendars with this pair scheduled to release on November 14th, but it's very possible that the date could be pushed around. As you guys know very well, a lot of release date changes this year. But as of now, it goes back to November 14th as the release date. They'll also be available in full family sizing, and the retail price will be $170. I believe it was 2 weeks ago when we saw a first look at the Air Jordan 1 High OG in Vault in Gold. Now, with that first look, the shoe was not constructed, it was actually detached from the midsole. And yes, there was a few different angles, but definitely not our best look. And what I have here still isn't our best look. I know we're going to get better images, but it is a better look. And these images actually came out last week, and for some reason on my last video, I totally skipped over talking about this shoe. I had the list of what I was going to talk about, and I totally just missed it. So I'm a little bit late on this, but I still wanted to include it, make sure to give you guys the freshest look that we have. And one thing that does stand out, even with these images, the Nike Air that is placed on the tongue, it's still flipped backwards. So the Nike Air will actually be facing your shin. I'm sure there's some sort of official inspiration behind the shoes. It's just, at this time it's not known. Other than that, we have gold around the heel, volt up top on the ankle overlay, which definitely furthers this unique look. Now, at the time of shooting this video, they are currently scheduled for January 9th, and the retail price will be $170. Not only did Nike Korea officially confirm that the Air Jordan 3 sole would release once again, they also gave out how you can buy this shoe. So there is some steps, and unfortunately you'll have to purchase in-store at Jordan Sole, and this is exclusively available in women's sizing, and only 30 pairs will be available. So right now they are running a special lottery, and you need to use the hashtag AJ3 sole for her on Instagram, and then you need to have some sort of image expressing your passion for Air Jordans. Now, at the time of shooting this, the contest is currently live and it'll run until Wednesday. After that, winners will be announced on October 12th, and then they'll have a purchase period between October 13th until October 26th. Also, the 2020 version will be different, not only the fact that it's a women's exclusive, but it'll come with special packaging. Unfortunately, they didn't announce a retail price. Recently, images leaked of the Air Jordan 13 Red Flint. Now, in my opinion, this leak is very early. Granted, we don't know a release date at the time of shooting, but information recently leaked, and I also got confirmation from my people at Jordan Brand. They also told me that the shoe will resemble that of Kevin Martin's PE, and basically like the Flint 13, but we have Gym Red. So that was on point with the Photoshop that was going around. Maybe the shading is slightly different, but with that being said, going over the shoes, they feature Gym Red on the panels. We have Flint Gray on the lower part of the shoe, which extends to the heel and medial side, while white hits the tongue, toe, and pods. Now the upper is 3M. In my opinion, that's a plus. I know a lot of people like 3M on the upper, and the outsole will pretty much feature all the colors used on the upper. Now, I think we're starting to get a lot of leaks earlier than before just because of COVID. They're basically ramping up the production of stuff a lot earlier, and when stuff does get produced earlier, it obviously will leak earlier. But like I mentioned, no release date as of yet. They are currently expected to release spring 2021, and the retail price will be $190. One of the questions I probably get asked the most is, when is the OffWhite Air Jordan 4 Bred releasing? Now, I'll be honest with you guys, when that information first came out, I was skeptical. It didn't have a style code, it didn't officially have a colorway besides the nickname, and where it originated from, sometimes they are hit and miss on news, so I tried to refrain on talking about it, and through the months, I've been asking a lot of people that I know if they've heard anything, if a colorway or a style code popped up in the system that potentially could match up, even if it's labeled an Air Jordan 4 SP, and I got nothing. Even behind the scenes, I've asked zsneakerheadz if he's heard anything from his people, and he's got nothing. Solheat on Feet is another person that is trusted. He wasn't able to pull any of the style codes, nothing. Now, with all that, that didn't mean that they weren't going to release. To us, it looked like it wasn't going to happen, but since I didn't know if it was or wasn't going to happen, I didn't really want to speak on it. Now, the other day I had some time to talk to a friend of mine who works at Jordan Brand, specifically in the men's division. That will be important later on in the video. And sometimes he's able to speak on things with me, sometimes he's not. It's never any pressure on him if he does or doesn't. Whenever he does, it's greatly appreciated. But I simply asked him about the OffWhite Air Jordan 4 Bred, if it was releasing this year, because there's been rumors going around for months. I haven't seen a style code, colorway, anything that would make me believe a release is coming, but I also said if you can't speak on it, then that's fine. He straight told me, no, they are not releasing. Now, he doesn't know about the women's side of things just because that isn't his department, and the only reason that is somewhat of a small window is because of the first OffWhite Air Jordan 4 that released this year. That was a women's exclusive, but when the rumor initially came out for the Bred pair, that was said to be the men's release, and the Cell pair was a women's release. Although a few months ago it was announced that the OffWhite Air Jordan 4 in Cell was going to release in men's sizing later this year, although I haven't heard an update since. but that info comes from a reliable source, so unless Jordan Brand scraps it, I still believe that is on the table. So unfortunately, the OffWhite Air Jordan 4 Bred will not release in 2020 unless it's a women's release. However, I highly doubt it, but I wanted to throw that in as a disclaimer because I don't want to say they're not releasing entirely, and that wasn't the message that I received. And that recaps the news. Like always, we post it first on SneakerFiles.com and then we take it to YouTube. Like always, I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Once again, if you have a question, leave it in the comments below. I'll answer them with the best of my ability, and maybe if the question is something that gets asked a lot, I'll feature it in the next video. Now, before I get out of here, if you have a second and you haven't done so already, greatly appreciate a thumbs up, and if you're new here, make sure to subscribe by hitting the red button below. Again, thanks for watching, stay tuned to SneakerFiles.com, and if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe.